Well, I'm not being funny, David, but come on, look at her.
Oh, well, yeah, I can imagine that coming from you.
Why was that supposed to be?
Well, it's why you're going out with a jolly green giant, isn't it? I mean, he's easy on the eye. There's not much going on behind him.
He's very intelligent, I'll have you know. Is he?
You're not part of this conversation, thank you.
All right. Come on, David, just admit what you did.
Yeah, because I cop off with all of Shona Crank's sisters.
Oi! I am not a crank. And yet, you did try to cop off with me.
In your dreams, Glenn Close. Now do one.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Hello and welcome to episode 406 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that has a 52% chance of seeing someone actually get killed this week. I'm Gavin.
I want to go back to bed already.
Oh, it's so early. It's not actually that early.
No,
But it's early.
And we've had a lot of running around to do this week. And I haven't been exactly feeling my best through most of it.
It's been a busy old week.
It has. It has. And yet, I know once the busyness all dies down, she's away to school in the fall, I'll miss it. Or I'll think I'll miss it.
It's an interesting position to take. I wondered, yes, we were at a high school band banquet last night to celebrate the seniors who were leaving to go on to other things. Now, when I hear the word banquet, do you know what I think?
You think fancy.
I think meatballs, hot dogs, and buffalo chicken dip.
And like 8 different kinds of pasta salad and no actual salad. Life in the Midwest, folks.
I don't normally like potlucks.
No, you don't. Which makes me sad because I love them.
I don't like eating food that's been cooked in a kitchen that I can't see.
And yet you eat in restaurants all the time.
Yeah, well, you can kind of see the kitchen. You can see what's going on. I can't see anything that goes on in this person's house that's making the meatballs. Although, to be fair, the meatballs were delicious. It's good gravy. Mm-hmm. A good British gravy. It tasted like there was some Bisto in there. I enjoyed it. I do enjoy the balls.
You do.
How are you otherwise?
Besides
Exhaustion.
exhausted and kind of sick and tired and a wee bit emotional.
Sure, yeah. Apart from all that.
Yeah, fine.
Good.
How about you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're wearing your
I had something this week. Something did happen this week. What happened this week?
We also had senior tennis night.
I don't know. It was something for me.
I don't know.
No, when you ask me how I am, I get to speak about things that have happened to me.
Right.
Not things that have happened to somebody else that I also saw.
I'm trying to think if you told me anything about yourself this
Do you know, I
week.
think I was maybe saving something for the podcast, and now I can't remember what it was. Oh well.
Oh, we planned our summer trip.
We started planning our summer trip.
Yes. Yes, we're going to Georgia to see the grave of Jimmy Carter. Finally. Finally.
Well, maybe we'll reword that.
Well, because, after he died, I was like, oh,
Finally, he's dead.
No.
That's what it sounded like.
That's not what I mean, although that man hung on a lot longer than maybe he should have just to vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh, they're good at that.
But
Anyway.
yeah, they took their time opening the gravesite. It's been like a year and a half.
It opened in the summer last year.
Huh.
But every time I checked it, it was closed. But then they claimed that it was opened in June last year. I don't think that's true.
What did we do last year? Last year wasn't Kansas, was it? Or last year did we just stay home? Or was it Kansas?
We went to Maine.
Oh, that's right. Yes, last year we went to Maine.
And it was lovely.
Yes, as it always is. Maine is the best state to go on vacation in the summertime.
For a relaxing week.
Yes.
We should have done that again this year.
Lots to see.
A lovely haunted hotel.
Lovely ocean. Lovely national park. Lovely lighthouses. lovely food.
Oh,
You can't beat Maine.
Maine's good.
Maine is
like.
good.
All right, shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that exhausting Corrie news.
I was exhausted when I wrote it. I can't tell you that much. It was like at 11:30 at night last night.
We can tell.
You can't tell yet. I haven't said anything.
We can tell.
Katie Harris actor Lucy Jo Hudson has announced her engagement to boyfriend of 8 years, Louis Devine. She was previously married to Tyrone actor Alan Halsall.
Yes. Yes,
Yes.
she was.
So mazel tov to her on her new 8 years is a long time to be dating before getting married, isn't it? Although I suppose some people just never get married.
There's a hump of why bother now?
Yeah.
And it's maybe less than 8 years.
Yeah.
Maybe more than 5, 6 or 7 years is I think what I'm saying. If you get
Right.
to 6 or 7 years, if it ain't broke, congratulations to them both.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Sally Diviner has confirmed she's not going anywhere, stating, if you do what you love, why would you leave? Why indeed?
She got a mention on a US talk show last week. Thanks to her daughter
I
mentioning
was
her.
about ready. Is this in relation to Phoebe?
Yes. Yes,
Who is the
Seth
more-
Meyers wasn't talking about
Who
Sally
is
Webster.
the more well-known diviner here in the United States, thanks to Bridgerton.
So I think a photograph of her as Sally came up, which is quite amusing.
Yes.
I don't know why it's amusing, but it's amusing.
Yeah, and she was also talking about Sally, not Phoebe, about how she would have played the breast cancer storyline different if she had had breast cancer beforehand, because she learned some things about herself and how she herself handled the breast cancer. She was a little more stoic than her counterpart.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think they held quite close together.
Yes. Yeah. They started the storyline and then she got breast cancer in real life,
Right.
which makes you wonder what sort of cosmic being Sally Diviner has pissed off in her life.
Oh, there'll be a few.
I would imagine so. And finally, if you were in the United Kingdom, go see a beardless David Brocklebank in the play Double Double at the Barn Theatre, Cirencester, Cotswolds? Until
Cirencester.
Cirencester. That makes more sense.
It does, doesn't it?
I got Cotswolds right, though.
In the Cotswolds, yeah.
Yes. Until May 30th. And that's Corrie News. I can't tell which is more disturbing. Daniel Brocklebank without his beard or Kev without his mustache
Just a mustache?
and the beard. I relate more to the mustache. I don't know why.
You relate to the mustache? Got a lot in common? Common interests?
Yes. When I'm focusing on Kev's face, which I don't exactly like to do, but anyway, it's the mustache that draws the eye, and it's no longer there, so it's like he's invisible without it. And I kind of feel the same way about Brocklebank, although it does make him look a bit younger. It does make me remember him in Shakespeare in Love a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the whole. What?
The Hole?
You haven't seen The Hole?
No.
Oh, you need to see The Hole. The Hole's
I
good.
thought you were making a dirty joke.
Well, I was a little bit. But no, the movie The Hole with Thora Butch and Keira Knightley.
No, I've
and
seen-
Daniel Brocklebank.
I've seen Holes, but that's different.
It's also got Lawrence Fox in it, so tread carefully.
And that's Corrie News.
That's Corrie News.
Tread carefully,
And
Corrie
then
News.
A transition that is as smooth as Daniel Brocklebank's cheeks. We move on to the feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Cindy writes, this is the first episode in about a month that didn't hear Helen yawn somewhere in the background. Been
Well,
I've been wondering if she needs a holiday, Gavin. Well, she does, and that's why we're going to go away.
No promises this week.
No, I think we'll both be yawning quite extensively.
Still not quite awake.
I try and get rid of the yawns. I try to mute them down. It's funny though, when you mention yawn, you kind of feel like you want to yawn a little bit.
Yeah.
So maybe I just missed that one. Love your podcast so much, and I agree that another week of this nonsense is too much. Thank you for taking your time to do this. That's absolutely fine, Cindy. What else would we be doing? Sleeping. That's
Yes.
what we'd be doing.
Reading Star Trek books.
Gary writes, you were talking about Tim's monologue that wasn't as good as Gail's monologue, but couldn't remember why he was monologuing in the first place. I suspect at least part of this email is just to annoy the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge. Just to say, Tim's monologue that wasn't as good as Gail's monologue happened when Mason died at the end of last year and was worthy of a better monologue. I agree. And yes, thank you.
Yeah. You know, but I still, now that I remember it, now that I remember why he
Now that
was
you
giving
remember
it, now that I remember why he was giving it, I remember being impressed that a character like Tim could have that sort of gravitas thrust upon him and do an okay job.
It was an introspection that I think we do not afford
Tim. Yeah.
And maybe that was my problem with it.
Yeah. I'll still take it over Swain's most recent monologue and Sam explaining to adults what climate change is.
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of like Tim, if he just started to do the tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow soliloquy from Macbeth, you'd go, what are you doing, Tim? It was a little bit like that.
He is no Sir Ian McClellan, that's for sure.
Cheeky writes from Thursday, so before we know what we know.
Yes.
I find it completely illogical that Maggie would associate with Megan on the wedding day, especially given Megan's history of abusing Maggie's grandson and framing Maggie for the loss of her baby. While giving Megan leverage over Maggie provides a motive for further conflict, her association still feels forced. On a positive note, it was refreshing to see Daniel recognise Megan's manipulation. Regarding Carl, I suspect Ronnie didn't kill him, but instead left him severely disabled. But that kind of turned out sort of right, I suppose. If Megan isn't written off by the end of the week, it will be incredibly frustrating, though I fear the show might kill off Theo instead. Oh.
Interesting.
Lastly, I think Jodie is the kind of chaotic character the show needs right now. I agree. Given how much she is hurting, I would love to see a redemption arc where she learns to value people again, similar to Abby's journey. It's a difficult one for Jodie because her redemptive arc is really from stealing things from people.
Right, and also bludgeoning Sarah.
Well, now.
Yeah.
But leading up to this, she doesn't have very much to be redeemed for. Now she does. And we'll get to that.
Well, and there may be other things that we just don't know about. Because if she can bludgeon Sarah that easily, surely she's bludgeoned someone else in the past.
You suspect her to be a serial bludgeoner?
Yes.
I'm surprised I was able to say that. Then Glenn writes, Abby describing Kevin as, quote, one of the best men ever, is vying for quote of the week. We should do a quote of the week.
Do we have time for quote of the week on top of everything else?
We could do quote of the week instead of running through the episodes.
Often quote of the week tends to be the title of ep.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
This week it's In Your Dreams, Glenn Close.
Which is completely unfair to Glenn Close.
Yes. In Your Dreams, David Platt. Then Dead Dear David writes, Dear Thingamajig and what's his name?
You are what's his name?
Of course. I'm really not sure what to make of Corrie this week. I think I loved it. I was hoping to binge it all week. On the other hand, I felt it was dragging it all out. I have a wish that all of them get killed off, a real bloodbath, and that might possibly be something a little surprising. Anyway, I'm positively dizzy with all the Dutch angles. In the end, I stuck a brick under one leg of my TV and straightened it all out. Excellent idea. Best wishes and keep up the great work from Dead Dear David. Well, thank you very much indeed. And Wendy writes, sound effect of the week was Sarah Lou's bop on the noggin. It sounded like Down Under.
Whereas I didn't hear anything at all.
Now, this is reference of the week. I think. The song Down Under by Men at Work, you're familiar with it, yes?
Of course I am.
I'm partly asking you. I'm partly asking the audience.
Okay. Well, you know I do because I love what's his name?
Colin Hay.
Yes, Colin Hay. I love Colin Hay. He's great in concert, live, solo.
So when I read Wendy's email and read Down Under, I was assuming that she meant Men at Work Down Under.
Uh-huh.
But I was also assuming that she meant the kind of panpipe type intro. But I had a little listen to Men at Work Down Under, and I think I know which bit she's talking about. Now I'm going to have to be very quick here, because I don't want to get us demonetised, but this is the noise that Wendy was talking about. That was the noise. One of them, the doo, was the noise of whatever it was that Jodie was using.
It didn't even look like she had anything in her hand, which may be why.
Well, it's too dark.
Which may be why my brain hallucinated no noise.
It was that kind of noise. Thank you, Wendy.
Which is more accurate than a pan flute
Yes. Well,
or a penny whistle. Is it a penny whistle or a pan
I
flute?
think it's a panpipe.
Yeah,
I was going to say didgeridoo. It's definitely not a didgeridoo.
it's not a didgeridoo, no, because that's more sort of thing.
Yeah. A vibrator underwater. Anyway, thank you to Wendy.
How do you know what a vibrator underwater
I've loved
sounds
Helen.
like?
Wendy, Dead Dear David, Glenn, Cheeky, Gary, and Cindy for the correspondence this week. We very much appreciate it. Feedback's always welcome. Send your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at thetalkofthestreet@gmail.com, or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Or we love it when people write actual letters to us. I'd love it more if I had time to go and check out our P.O. Box, which again I haven't done. Apologies. Send your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee.
Haven't had this in a while.
It's been a couple of weeks.
Friend of the podcast.
Welcome to Rebecca.
Welcome, Rebecca.
That's our new friend of the podcast, joining on the Patreon. On the Patreon, I don't know that it gives you much chance unless you deliberately try to send a message. So we know nothing more,
No, it's not Rebecca of something.
but we know enough to thank Rebecca for signing up to be a friend of the podcast. And in doing so, Rebecca gives herself access to our 2 bonus shows, the Classics and the Spoiler Alert.
Classics just came out for May
Yep.
on May Day.
And we'll be doing Spoiler Alert just as soon as we're finished doing this one.
Yes. Our May Day episode sadly has nothing to do with fighting against capitalism.
It doesn't. Or empowering the workers.
No empowerment. Just moving blocks away from a train.
Yeah. In May's Classics, we're talking about episode 668 from May the 10th, 1967. The train crash episode.
Yes.
Not the tram crash episode. The train crash episode.
Yes.
And it was a beauty. I really enjoyed talking about that one.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was good stuff.
Even though people died.
People that we don't know, that we've
People
never
we've
seen.
never seen before.
And
And
that-
we'll never see again because their head got smashed in by a wheel.
And that happens in real life
All the time.
So thank you very much, Rebecca, for signing up. We very much appreciate it. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes. But if you think our show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, and if you want to show your appreciation or if you want more weekly and monthly content, check out the links in this episode description or head over to corriepodcast.com, click on Support the Pod, and then Friend of the Podcast for $2 a month. You can get access to our weekly spoiler show, the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, and the monthly classic Corrie show, the Talk of the Street Classics. And if that wasn't enough, you also get access to our Discord server, a shout out at the end of every podcast, and your name on the credits of the flagship show. If you prefer something a little less formal, you can also buy us next week's coffee by clicking Buy Us a Coffee. And remember, you can always support the podcast for free. Get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts. Shall we dive in to Murder Week, Helen?
Yes, please.
All right. I'm just going to go through these day by day. I guess I could have put them story by story, but I didn't. This
Are you going to play that like every single time?
So you can look forward to that 4 more times.
It's too early for this, Gav.
On Monday, we start with a flashback to Carla and Swain back at the factory with the alarm going off and Carla trying to get the key out of her little clutch handbag thing. And we see Toyah driving the bistro van as she thinks of Imran. We see Maggie crossing the street. We see Jodie peering out the window of number 8. And if we see Megan, I must have missed it. Theo is on the scaffolding outside the shop flat while inside Todd is on the phone to his mum as he packs, eager to get away and looking forward to a bit of sun. There's a smash from the bedroom, so he quickly hangs up, grabs a blunt instrument and goes through to investigate.
Instead of immediately calling the police.
Just leaving the flat.
Hang up, leave the flat, call 999. That's what you do in this situation, Todd.
Good 999 knowledge.
I mean, it is hilarious that the emergency number in the UK is just the same number 3 times.
Do you know why it is?
So it's easy to remember, but also
No.
it feels like it's something that you could accidentally dial all the time.
No, the opposite of that is the reason why it's 999. And it's down to rotary phones. That the time it takes to dial a 9 is the longest. Or is it a 0 that's the longest? It's a 0 that's the
0
longest.
is the longest,
But
but you're not going to do 000.
0 opens up a whole can of worms with the operator.
Yes.
So a 9 for a child takes too long to do and they're more likely to do 1s and 2s that get the quick endorphins going.
Right, yes. But also, when you're in an emergency and you desperately need help and time is of the essence, yes, let's make it the longest possible way to dial on a who is still using rotary phones at this point?
Everybody.
Didn't you have button phones at this point?
999's probably been going since the 60s or the 50s or the 40s.
I don't think so. Because 911 isn't that old. 911 is started in the 80s, I believe.
1937.
1937, that's amazing.
1937, yep. The system was introduced following a house fire in Wimpole Street in that London.
911 started. London.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, 911 started in 1968, so I was off on the 1980s as well. So, more shame me.
Yeah.
But now I know, and knowing is half the battle.
Shame.
G.I. Joe.
Anyway.
Because I said knowing is half the battle. That's why I said G.I. Joe.
Gotcha.
It has nothing to do with your shame bell over there.
Right. We should get a shame bell. Anyway.
And also a nun costume for you.
Not that kind of nun. Anyway.
A Buddhist nun?
Let's all agree that Todd... as we skip down the road of victim blaming once more, there are more intelligent things that Todd could be doing right now other than checking out what happened or what caused the noise in the bedroom. But that's what he does. The room is empty, but the window has been smashed, and when he looks out, he sees some street toughs running along the cobbles, and he assumes that it was them. He leaves the bedroom to carry on packing, missing the fact that Theo, wearing a fluorescent tabard, is standing in the corner of the room. George gives him a call to see where he is, as they're supposed to be having a farewell pint in the Rovers, and his drink's getting cold. Todd promises to be there as soon as
Warm.
he can, but he said cold,
Which is funny.
because that's a joke.
Yay.
To be there as soon as he can, but when he hangs up and moves between rooms, Theo is standing in the hallway next to his suitcase. And this is a scene that I had so much trouble imagining last week as you were describing it on Spoiler Alert.
Looking very Michael Myers in the way his legs are spread. And as stiff as he is, it just filling that hallway the best way he knows how. Mm-hmm. He just needs a hockey mask. Or not a hockey mask, because that is not...
You're thinking Jason Voorhees.
Yes, I'm
Where's my
thinking
shame
Jason
bell?
Voorhees. His William Shatner mask.
Right.
Yes.
And for the purposes of this diversion, Todd is played by Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. It would be hilarious to see Michael Myers in like a neon jacket. I wore one of those last weekend when I was helping at the food the drive-through food bank, because I was directing cars.
You're so cool.
I am.
Going somewhere nice, says Theo. Meanwhile, Summer is about to lob a half brick through the windscreen of Theo's van, but she's pulled off by Gary,
But not like that.
who reckons that she doesn't need this bother, and the two of them go to the community garden for a chat, where Summer explains how lost she is, how Theo's taken everything good from her, how she can't get the image of Billy dying out of her head. Yeah, you, me, both, sister. Gary stares at Theo's van as the red mist slowly descends. Back at the flat, Todd tells Theo that he can't be there, but Theo's in a chatty mood, and also in a mood to cook them a last supper, which isn't ominous at all. He insists that he knows that it's over between the two of them, but when he burns himself on the oven, suddenly this is all Todd's fault. And when Todd cowers, and when Todd apologises for cowering, this is Todd's fault too. And Theo just gets angrier and angrier, and can't imagine Todd being with anybody else and how he's going to get shacked up the minute that he gets to Thailand. Todd manages to grab a knife, and Theo opens his shirt and challenges Todd to do it, because without him, he's dead inside anyway. Get away from her, you bitch, says Sigourney Weaver, and then George comes in, and he tells Theo to get away from Todd too. At this point, Theo is armed with a medium-sized pot, and he orders George and Todd to sit on the couch, which they do.
It's a heavy pot. It's like cast iron.
Yeah. He's got some lines he needs to get through, where it sounds like he was going to do a run up to Thailand too.
Yes.
Which would have been the creepiest fucking thing in the world if he'd done that. Imagine running away to Thailand and the first person you see off the plane is Theo.
Ugh.
Ugh.
He also at some point during this whole conversation may have gotten Coronation Street in a little bit of trouble from the Walt Disney Company when he quotes Buzz Lightyear. Honestly, it was like watching Age of Ultron again when, Ultron says starts singing the There Are No Strings on Me Pinocchio song in the middle of an Avengers movie. But at least Disney owns that IP. Although Coronation Street is seen on Hulu, so maybe they have some sort of arrangement with Disney.
It's got Disney dollars behind it now.
Didn't work out well for Doctor Who, so we'll see.
George wonders if the police have his passport, and he gets a punch in the chops for his troubles. But then George fakes a cramp and manages to get a punch in himself. And then he and Todd overpower Theo and lock him in the bathroom using the same method that Theo used when he was locking Todd in the bathroom.
Right.
Oh, the irony.
I thought it was a linen closet.
He ties him to the handle of the linen closet,
Yeah.
I think. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
I called it a cupboard, but it's a closet.
Okay.
They make a sharp exit, and luckily Kit is passing by as he's leaving the wedding that's going on in the factory. They raise the alarm, and when Megan appears wanting to report an assault, Kit tells her to fuck off, he's busy.
Fuck all the way off, madam.
And calls for backup. George and Todd go back.
Back up!
George and Todd go back to his place, where George tells him he can get clothes and toothpaste once he gets to Thailand. This was my point.
Yeah.
All of this is unnecessary. The clothes that he has for winter, spring in Manchester is probably not what he's going to need for Thailand at any time of the year.
I'm sure he's got shorts and things already at home to pack.
Just buy a pair of shorts when you get there, Todd. The important thing isn't being prepared for all seasons. The important thing is getting the fuck out of Dodge.
Yeah, that's true.
Meanwhile, Gary's battering fuck out of Theo's van and seems to be caught on CCTV as he's doing it,
Yeah, very, very clear CCTV.
for a change. Then he texts Theo saying that he's coming for him. When the cops get to the flat, there's no sign of Theo, and the broken window makes it look like he must have escaped down the scaffolding. Theo, though, is hiding in his van, and although he must have been there when Gary was smashing it up, he looks surprised when he gets out. And then a hand with a black cuff lands on his shoulder, and after the initial shock, Theo laughs and wonders if he's supposed to be scared. And we don't know who the owner of that sleeve or that cuff or that hand is, but we know that Gary's been wearing a jacket that's got a black cuff, and I think we're meant to assume that it's Gary.
But it's not.
It's not. Because it turns out that this week, everyone's wearing a jacket with a black cuff, apart from Maggie.
Even Bertie is wearing a black cuff.
Bertie?
Bertie.
Is Bertie in it this week? Oh,
Yep.
that was a joke. Sorry, okay, gotcha. To be fair, Helen,
Do I need to start calling you Helen?
you do struggle with the children's names quite a bit.
Even Bernie wasn't in it this week, so shut up.
In the pub, George learns from Kit that Theo escaped, and he rushes off as once again Todd has been left on his own.
Why do they keep leaving him on his own?
They're doing a great job of protecting him.
Right. They keep saying, oh, well, he wanted to be alone. Just tell him no, he's not allowed to be alone.
Right, you can be alone in the plane.
Right.
Metaphorically.
Get you on the plane, sir.
They meet at the taxi outside the Rovers as fireworks go off, and they hug and tell each other that they love each other, and Todd goes into the taxi thinking that Theo's been caught. And maybe this explains why he stops the cab, because he's forgotten his phone. He gets out, and the cab is immediately nabbed by Betsy and Lauren, and as Todd walks back to the house, Theo is standing in the middle of the road, ominously, waiting for him.
With his William Shatner mask on.
And that's Monday.
Yeah, the phone I can understand, because his ticket is probably on his phone.
Let's say that his ticket's probably on his phone.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I quite enjoyed Monday.
Yeah, Monday was all right.
I thought Monday was maybe the highlight of the week. It was genuinely quite tense because of those similarities with Halloween or slasher movies.
Evil dies tonight!
How prescient.
And the darkness of it sort of worked there.
Right, because it's not like dark, it's dusk. And it starts in the daytime and moves into dusk.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't mind Monday at all. I mean, there are strange things that are happening, and there's strange things that happen that become stranger. Like, I'm left to ask, how long did this firework display go on for? Because it starts as Todd's leaving, but it's still going on when Betsy finds the body in the flash forward, didn't it? Wasn't that all going on? I got the impression that the fireworks are happening as whoever it is that's dying is dying, or is attacked. Because we've got the scream that happens when Carla and Swain are back in the factory.
I mean, we've seen fireworks displays that have been like 45 minutes to an hour long.
But these fireworks are coming from the garden of number 8.
Are they?
Or number 6. Yeah, this is what Kirk and David were setting up. They're the ones that are doing the fireworks. This isn't a council firework display that's done because
when do we
Carla
ever see Kirk and David
married.
setting up fireworks?
When they were walking through the garden last week, and Jodie's like, who's that in our garden? And it was Kirk. That's what Kirk was doing. Hiya! He was walking along with a box of fireworks that he and David were setting up.
Why were they setting up fireworks? Was this for the wedding?
For the wedding, yeah. These weren't just no random Friday night fireworks.
Oh, so just regular people now could do like fireworks displays and disturb the sleeping people of Manchester anytime they want.
Absolutely.
When somebody dies and then when somebody gets married.
Yes. Absolutely.
Because let's not forget, Paul got fireworks for his funeral or for his like party afterwards.
Paul was fired into space.
Right, yes, but there were also fireworks at his celebration of life ceremony. And remember I said they can't afford shoes, but they can afford expensive fireworks for Paul's going off
the
ceremony.
shoe era of the talk of the street. Yep. Let's not go back there.
Let's please not.
And this is an issue that I guess I have throughout lots of this. The timeline of it, because it's told
murky
in this fractured way where we're going to retell the same time.
That may be why they did it this way.
To keep it murky?
So they could keep it murky and so they wouldn't have to spend so much time making sure that things line up.
Because things are going to happen when the fireworks are going off later on, and you think, well, how does this all pan together?
Just don't think about it.
This is the Austin Powers approach to time travel, where Basil Exposition says, a lot of you are probably going to be thinking about how this works. Don't think about it. Just go along with it.
Or, Mystery Science Theater 3000, where you're wondering how he eats and breathes and other science facts. La la la. But repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax.
Right. Wise words.
Yes.
That kind of renders the rest of this podcast mute, though, doesn't it? If we were to take that approach.
Well, we know how these people eat and breathe.
It was good to see George turning up in Todd's rescue and faking the cramp felt like a typically George thing to do because you could believe that George has got a cramp. George
Yeah.
is a man who's had a cramp or two in his life.
I was a little disappointed in George being afraid of Theo because, as I pointed out last week, George has some height and weight on Theo. Mm-hmm. If there's one person who should not be afraid of Theo, it should be George. And yet he becomes very much Auntie Pitterpat when
Yeah, it does a bit.
when Theo is wielding the
It's the pot.
pot.
Yeah, it's the
the
pot that
cast
does
iron
it.
pot. He's like, oh, well, that could do actual damage to me. Yeah, but you're bigger than him, George. You could take it away from him.
Todd's holding a knife, though, isn't he? What happened to the knife?
I don't know. It's not a knife. It's a knife.
So we've got Halloween, we've got Crocodile Dundee, we've got the theory of Austin Powers running through
Right,
this episode.
yes. And Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Just value for money, I'll give you that.
Absolutely.
So at this point, you're thinking this is probably quite likely that Theo is the one that dies here because it's the first one up. And they're hoping that you're going to forget quite a lot of this by the time you get to the end of the week. I don't think what they're going to do is show us who's going to get killed on the Thursday and then you go into Friday.
Yeah.
I think the way that you narratively tell this is...
And also, you need all of the days. You need Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday to tell all of these stories about these horrible, horrible people.
You do indeed. All right, let's move on to Tuesday then.
Sometimes I think you hate me.
Just two more. Because I don't think I'm going to do it on Friday.
Oh, I hope not.
Or am I? No, I
No.
am. On Tuesday,
Asshole.
we start with the same wee montage of Carla and Swain going back to the factory. You're already annoyed by this.
I didn't quite mind. I think it was Wednesday when I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, do we have to do this every day?
Maggie's crossing the street, Jodie's peeking out the window. But this time we're focusing on Carol leaving the pub and wanting a word with a passing Abby, who gives them a choice few in return. She calls herself the stupidest woman on the planet for betraying the best man on the planet. That's Kev. For the worst man on the planet. That's Carl.
Okay, so that's 2/3 true.
I think 1/3 true. There's worse people in the world than Carl.
No, there's not.
Meanwhile, at the hotel, Debbie is telling Ronnie and Kev that she paid Carl $2,000 to fuck off, which doesn't seem as extravagant as I'd assumed. I thought there was far more than $2,000 in that envelope. Ronnie reckons that they might get some peace and quiet now. Carol follows Abby to work, where she's working on Kev's car, and we're sure to mention it's Kev's car. Mm-hmm. Carol's a right moaning wee bitch when he wants something, and despite her protests, he manages to wear her down, and she agrees to hear him out. Back at the hotel,
Which surprised me.
yeah, I was
like,
this is plot.
Abby, what you doing?
Abby's never given him the time of day, and especially
I mean, except when she was very much giving him the time of
but
day.
now she's
Yeah.
not giving him the time of day.
Yeah.
And especially when he starts down with all the pish of how he still feels about her and things like that. Back at the hotel, Debbie is very upset when she forgets Ronnie's name and has to shout on him as, "Hey man." He does have his back turned to her right enough, but it really knocks Debbie for 6. Ronnie, though, is lovely. When she's calmed down, he suggests that everyone starts wearing name tags and he can get his name on the back of his shirt. Number 9, Ronnie. And Debbie laughs at the idea that Ronnie could be a centre forward. And he does a really good job at calming her down and making her laugh and
Yeah,
saying,
that
say
was-
my name now.
That was
Come on
really
now."
that was really nice. And also it's a very good idea. The name tag thing.
I don't think that was a bad idea at all.
No, that was a great idea.
And in fact, it's a hotel. Maybe they should be doing that anyway.
It should have name tags, yes. I mean, Ronnie doesn't technically work there, but everybody else should have name tags.
Yeah. Ronnie tells her that they face this together. In the pub, Carl insists to Abby that he loved her, and he still does. And yet, you got your whole of a James, she says, and that shuts him up. He keeps forgetting that bit.
He does.
She tells him that she was fine before him and she'll be fine after, so long as he goes. And they're caught together by Kev, and he makes his disapproval known.
Yeah. He rushes very quickly to conclusions that are ridiculous.
Carl leaves them to it, Abby explaining it was a good riddance drink, and she hates Carl as much as Kev does. Sally and Fizz come in at the pub. They're popping over from the wedding. Sally chanting briefly about Sophie's ex-partner who was non-binary, and she seemed very proud of that as well.
Yes.
They've come for wine for the wedding at the factory, and Carl, who has suddenly become quite drunk, is a total dick to them, saying that Carl doesn't think they're worth champagne. Fizz calls him a scumbag and a coward for what he did to Tyrone, and Ben goes to throw him out, but not before he makes Tyrone jump, because he kind of stamps his foot in Tyrone's direction, because Tyrone's talking about, I'll give you a hand. So Carl goes to go for Tyrone, and Tyrone shits himself a wee bit.
Yeah.
And Carl says, if you want a coward, there's your coward. Outside, we learn it was Carl who put his hand on Theo's shoulder. Carl says that he's got some time to kill before he has to leave, and suggests that he and Theo go and get their hole somewhere, which
was
I
hilarious.
thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I think it was a genuine offer.
I mean, if Theo had said, sure, why not?
They would have.
They would have. But I don't think it was necessary. I think he was winding him up because of, the winding up he gave him last week when his son, materialized for 5 seconds. Remember? Mm-hmm. And Carl came by and started to, misses at Theo.
Misses, yes. That's how we refer to that scene.
Yes. Which, put young Maxwell off and said, know what? Miles, whatever.
Maxwell.
I'm actually quite quite shocked that we don't have we did have a Max on the show, didn't we?
We did. He's in jail.
He's in jail now. Forever. So many M names. It's almost as bad as the J names.
I don't think he was a Maxwell, though. I think he was either just Max.
I think he was Maximus.
Or he was Maximilian.
No, I think he was Maximus.
You're thinking of the guy that played ITV Corrie. No, you're not.
No.
But he was Maximus.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking that David was watching...
Mad Max.
No.
Gladiator.
Yes. That David was watching Gladiator while his dead wife was pregnant with Max.
Max is just Max, as far as I can make out.
I'd like to think of him as a Maximus.
Like Maximilian. That puts an awful lot of pressure on any kid being called Maximilian, doesn't it? Maximus does as well.
Yes.
If it was
because
Maximus,
are you not entertained?
Damn it, I was going to make a are you not entertained joke. Oh well, we can't make two.
No.
Got to keep one for next week.
Yes, but let's notch another pop cultural reference into our Murder Week belt here.
Until we don't want to be talking about this belt. Where are we? No, I think he would have. And I think even the request that he made last week
in front of Miles
had a nugget of honesty to it as well.
Yes, the misses.
Because it's
thing.
Your hole's your hole as far as Carl's concerned.
Yeah. Carl has a hole in every port.
And a port in every hole.
Ugh.
Theo lamps Carl and they grab each other by the ears and wrestle each other to the ground or get their hole, it's difficult to tell, on the cobbles. Kev appears, picks up Carl's money envelope, which had fallen out on the ground, and breaks it up. Theo crawls away, and Kev is fucking furious and made of disappointment. He thought Carl had come back for him. Carl says that he did. He came back for Kev and Debbie, but he messed it up, just like he did in Germany. This is the end, says Kev, and they shake hands. Carl heads to the tram station, and Kev giggles that he has Carl's money. And just as I'm wondering what Kev gains from doing this, he sends Carl a text of him with the money, and Kev's got a shit-eating grin on his face. So Carl goes back to the garage, breaks in, turns the security cameras off, ransacks the place, and then drunkenly gets Kev's car up on a jack, and he starts fucking around with the brakes. But a shadow passes over the scene, and next we see the car falls off the jack and traps Carl underneath it. Kev's gone to see Debbie, and he cheers her up by showing her the money that he stole from Carl, but she's fucking livid about it, and she thinks the same way as I do. That money was what convinced her that Carl would be able to stay on the straight and narrow and give him a fresh start, and now he'll end up ruining more lives, and she throws Kev out. Then we see Ronnie getting into a car and driving off, driving by Jodie, who seems to be leaving number 8 with a suitcase, and Carl's in the back seat of the car, and he's in a bad way, and he wants to go to the hospital. Oh, I'm not falling for that again, says Ronnie. And that's as far as we get on Tuesday. Now, I saw some conversation about wondering, so was Ronnie the one who pushed the car off the jack?
Yes.
And I'm like, of course it was.
Yes.
Who else could it have been?
Right.
And why else could it have
Would
been
it have
someone
been?
else?
Yeah.
Because why would Ronnie have been involved getting them in the car and all that sort of stuff? So
Right.
I thought it was fairly clear that it was Ronnie that...
Yeah, it was Ronnie who, like, does it and then has second thoughts because he's not a killer.
Right. He keeps on getting quite close to doing something horrible and disastrous to somebody, and he always seems to pull himself away from it. And this seems to be that again, although at this point you don't know what he's going to do with Carl. What he probably should have done is just left him underneath the car if that's what he was going to do. But again, in this, before Carl starts working on the car, he hears the fireworks from outside. And he opens the door again and looks out to see the fireworks.
Because we need to have every one of these people look up at the fireworks at least once because of, what happened a month ago when we saw all of their faces lit up by fireworks.
Right. So if we're piecing all this together, when Todd's getting into the taxi, Carl is not trapped under the car, but is in the garage.
Yes.
Those two things are happening at the same time.
Yes. Yes, because Carl is... I don't understand why Kev sent a picture of himself with that money.
I really don't get it.
It's so stupid. It's like the whole... It's this whole ha-ha moment. It's like, yeah, but you just kind of fucked yourself.
Because he's going to come back.
He's going to come back.
He was 2 minutes away from leaving.
Right. Yeah.
If you hadn't taken the envelope, he would have been gone.
Right. Yeah. And then he wouldn't have been under the car fucking up Kev's brakes to, I don't know, make sure that Kev dies? Or at least is injured in a horrible accident and maybe take other people out? Carl really is the worst person in the world.
He's not great. But at this point, he's in pretty bad shape.
He is.
And he doesn't really look like he's going to make it.
No.
I don't think cars generally fall on people.
No, they do.
They do.
They do all the time.
Yes, but then the person that it falls on survives it. This is doing an enormous amount of damage to your internal organs. I would think. Although
it is kind of amazing his head's not smashed in.
It did happen to Tyrone and he got over it. He blamed Kev for it. It wasn't Kev.
No.
I may have got that the wrong way around. Anyway.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, it was a strange decision, and it was strange to not think through at least 2 steps ahead to think of the consequences of that and think how pissed off Debbie's going to be about it. And plus, it was only $2,000. If it was 20 grand, you could maybe see Kev's point that Debbie's giving away 20 grand of her money. But it was just $2,000. Mm-hmm. And it's questionable how much good that's going to do to Carl when he leaves.
Right.
Maybe gets himself a cheap second-hand motor. Maybe gets himself a bed sit somewhere for a couple of months.
Rent.
I don't know. I really did like the Debbie and Ronnie stuff, though.
Yes.
And but what I don't like is the pace at which Debbie seems to be deteriorating.
No.
And we can't really blame well, maybe we can. Maybe we shouldn't be blaming the prison for this anymore, given that she's been out. But I guess the stress of Carla and all that sort of stuff.
Right, yeah. And it's not like she would just, as soon as she gets out of prison, miraculously all of a sudden be a little better.
Yeah, that's true.
It still would have done permanent damage to her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carl is able to turn on being a dick at the drop of a hat, or thanks to drinking copious amounts of booze. All right, we'll move on to Wednesday then. Carl and Swain at the factory.
Blah, blah,
blah.
blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
But it's a different song every week.
It is, just to keep the interest up.
Which I think is one of the things that irritates me, because it's like, what, are they playing like 4 songs at the same time at the wedding reception? I don't think so.
I'm not sure what we're supposed to be what we're thinking the source of this music is.
It's like, ooh, we're going to do this really cool stylistic thing where we have a different song every day that like sort of maybe goes with the theme of the night. And it's like, think about that a little bit further first.
On Wednesday, New Lily catches Jodie stealing a tenner and packing her bags and quickly susses that she's about to do a flip without saying goodbye to anyone, especially Lily.
Right, yes, because it's Lily's show now.
And it's Lily's tenner.
Yeah. Lily is the new Kate.
Oh, God. Except with more crying and whinging.
Oh, God. Like, the crying that she's going to do.
Throughout this.
Well, no, but when she's running down the street crying and Lauren says, "Are you all right, love?" And Lily cannot speak except just, shout no and keep running. And Lauren's like, well, all right. That was just... I mean, she is related to Nick, so... Crying does, run in the family.
I want the slightly more fun-loving Lily back. The one that loved to play football.
Yes.
Bring
and
her
was
back.
always cheerful.
Bring her...
And loved her family.
I don't know that she was always cheerful, but she had some scenes where she wasn't crying.
Right.
That's definitely true.
Yes. I was just happy to be remembered and involved.
Yeah. Lily thinks that she's the main character in Coronation Street.
Right, yes.
I have no idea why. Maybe just the age. Maybe she's that age.
And doesn't think she's in competition with a baby with a tumor.
Right. Ugh. Lily is still being incredibly insensitive by thinking that Shona and David only care about Harper and Jodie was the only one who got her. Oh, fuck off, Lily. Jodie explains it's complicated and this sets Lily down a "I hate you" line and telling Jodie that she only cares about herself before storming out. Meanwhile, Shona's explaining to David that she's thrown Jodie out, but she refuses to explain why, except to say it was time for her to move on and that their shared history has made things difficult. But she's sure to remind David, and us, that Jodie doesn't know that she received the letter Jodie sent when she was a kid after Shona had left. On the way back to the house, Shona's accosted by her two friendly street toughs from last week. I was glad to see them again, who assume that she's Jodie.
Which is... Why are all the street toughs dumb?
We've been congratulating the show that Shona and Jodie do look like their sisters.
They're related, but they don't look like the same person.
Well, somebody else is about to make a similar mistake
right,
in a little minute.
Which is also hilarious.
But, yeah, you'd think that the guy would provide a photograph of some nature to say, go after this one.
Yeah, not this one.
This one?
This one.
This one. Jodie overhears this commotion while she's inside contemplating stealing a watch. And she comes out, and after a fashion, she confesses up. She's Jodie. She's the droid that they're looking for. Star Wars reference. She invites him in, gives them back the flash drive, and sends them on their way, promising that she didn't take any copies of it, honest gov. And this is good enough for the street toughs. It's like...
Why even bring that up? Why even bring that up as a possibility, Jodie?
Because of course she took a copy of it.
Of course. Why even bring it up?
This was her insurance policy, remember?
Right, yes.
Why wouldn't she take a copy of it?
Right, exactly.
But the street toughs are satisfied by this and they promise to come back if the flash drive turns out to have any holiday snaps on it or the outline for that play that Jodie never got round to starting in earnest. When they're gone...
Or her slutty fan fiction about David.
I think I want to read that. When they're gone, Shona asks what was on the flash drive. Oh, that's not important, says Jodie, and that's that. Okay. After all that commotion, Shona decides to let Jodie stay.
Because the flash drive is gone, so the danger's over, right? Right?
The whole reason for wanting Jodie to leave was because of the threat of violence in the house and bringing violence to the family. That happened.
Right, but now it's over. So it's fine now.
Jodie is relieved and says, apropos nothing, that she understands that Shona never received the letter, so it wasn't her fault that she didn't reply, and she doesn't blame her. That's right, says Shona. If I had my way, it would have been you, me, Clayton running through a graveyard, and a small dog. A small dog, says Jodie. Did her letter mention a small dog? Probably. So now, as Shona leaves for the hospital for the first time in the month, Jodie is fucking furious.
She could have just been referencing David.
Or another small dog.
Right. There's
Any
a small
small
dog
dog.
in the house. So maybe that's, or maybe she's referring to the human David as a small dog.
I think if you're going through in your head your idyllic picture of perfection,
Yeah.
and it involves a caravan and a beach, there's probably a dog involved in that
Right,
as well,
yes.
isn't there? There's
Maybe
probably
not,
a dog.
Maybe not a small
Not a
one,
small
though.
dog.
Golden retriever.
Exactly. A lassie type dog.
That's not a golden retriever. Airbud was a golden retriever. Or a Labrador retriever would also be nice.
A lab.
Labradors are nice.
A big friendly lab.
Yeah, we had labs growing up. And then one Irish setter named Red.
Too hairy. And that's the worst name ever.
It's the name he came with.
You might as well have called it Paddy. She searches the house and we get to see inside the marital bedroom as Jodie finds a keepsake box with a photo, and behind the photo is the stupid letter that Jodie wrote that looks like it was written by a 2-year-old. As Shona was leaving,
And like on airmail paper.
you've got to keep
Onion
those,
skin.
got to keep those costs down. As Shona was leaving, she bumped into Toyah, who was getting hassled from the rest of Bananarama about something about keeping her mouth shut. And Shona offers an ear, which was funny because Toyah had promised not to tell anyone what had just happened, which I assume had to do with Megan's assault that Kit ignored on Monday.
Yes.
At the wedding, David sends a booty text to Shona, but Shona has obviously left her phone at home because that's what you do when you're leaving for the hospital, and the message was intercepted by Jodie, who love hearts it. David, drunk as a skunk and stinking of whiskey, heads home to get his hole, but he's shocked into sobriety when he goes into the house, up the stairs, into the bedroom, takes his kecks off, and then realises that the person whose neck and face he's been winching is Jodie, not Shona. He runs down the stairs with a rapidly deflating stiffy, demanding to know what she was doing in his bed, which is a fair question.
Very fair question. And he's doing the like sticking his tongue out and wanting to get a toothbrush to brush his tooth and his mouth and everything. Much like Austin Powers, I believe, in one scene after kissing the wrong person.
No, we need another reference. We've already got Austin Powers in here.
Jim Carrey in The Pet Detective movie?
No, I'm going to give you Woody Harrelson kissing his horrible landlady in Kingpin.
See, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, stay away from it. It hasn't aged well.
Neither have the Pet Detective movies. Because I believe in that scene with Jim Carrey, rinsing out his mouth and being disgusted, the theme song from The Crying Game is playing.
Let's skate over that.
Yes.
So, Jodie pretends to be shocked by the whole thing, and Shona just given birth to his daughter as well, and she threatens to grass him up, but he's suspicious of Shona's phone being there, and quickly realises that she was the one who responded to the booty text with a love heart, but when he checks the phone, that text has gone.
Yes.
We don't need a bunny boiler in this house, he shouts, which is his first reference to Fatal Attraction, a movie that came out in the 80s. And this attracts a passing Sarah, who initially seems to quite enjoy winding David up by believing Jodie's story. But when Jodie casts up Josh and says that she knows about that and tells David to stop playing the victim.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa,
No,
where
Sarah.
did that come from? Sarah has heard enough.
No, yeah.
Get the
Fuck out.
She tries to plead her case, but David tells her that he was disgusted when he realised it was her, and if she was dead, no one would care, which is a bit much. But it's enough to encourage Jodie to leave.
But still, Jodie has just told him to stop playing the victim card for rape.
Mm-hmm.
So she can fuck off.
Yeah, all the way.
All the way off.
She heads to the precinct looking for a place to stay the night when she's approached by someone. Oh, haven't you got enough from me? She says. I can't not mention Sally and Tim being caught nearly having full sex on Carla's desk during the reception, though, but that's as far as we get on Wednesday.
Yes, that was great. With David under the desk.
David was under the desk leaving a soppy drunken message for Shona.
For Shona.
While Tim and Sally burst into the office.
Yeah.
And Sally climbs up on the desk And looks like
hikes up her skirt a wee bit.
she does look like she's about
Yeah.
to howk the gusset over to the side, and
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I think my imagination is filling a lot of that in, but it was
yeah.
quite close to being.
And what's hilarious
Fairly
is that
porno.
after Daniel leaves, they
David.
start up again. David. Why do I keep getting David and Daniel mixed up in my head this week? Both real and fictitious Davids and Daniels. Yes, when David leaves, they start up again.
He hasn't even properly left.
No. And the door's not shut. They've got like the little streamer thing in between the doors. So anybody could walk in and anybody in the other room could hear them.
I think that's part of the thrill.
Yeah, probably.
It does spark quite an interesting conversation. I think this is why David wants to nip back to get his hole. I think this is what's planted the seed,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Right.
Kirk bemoaning how the closest he gets to affection is when his dog licks his face.
Yes.
Are we starting up a Kirk storyline that isn't about his depression sometime soon?
Well, maybe it is about his depression because the only affection he gets now is from his dog because his wife left him and his stepson is dead in a horrific, horrific way. So,
He's saying how much this relationship with his dog is important to him.
right.
And David says, yeah, it's not the same. It's not like they can go down. And I was like, what? Where are we going with this? Down to the shops to buy you your...
Oh, okay.
I was like,
Oh,
Yeah.
that could have gone in a very, very dark
Yeah.
direction.
it was better, but not all that much better.
Yeah.
Who knows where Lily is at this point? I think she mentioned that she was going to go to somebody's house. She storms out of the house as
Right.
Shona's approaching, and she says
Yeah.
she's going to Chelsea's house, or
Right.
she's going to Chelsea.
Right.
Who knows? Something
And
like that.
she hates all of you because you love the baby more. And also, Jodie has left me, and she's the only one who understands.
This woman that I've known for 3 months.
Oof.
Out of all the episodes, this was the low point
Yeah.
for me, I think.
Yeah, me too.
The circumstances that we have to accept for David to climb into bed with Jodie, I just found it completely unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I know that
But,
I've said
I mean,
that they
part
look,
of it-
they look kind of similar.
Right, yes. And also, David's not expecting to see Jodie
And
in
he's drunk.
his bed. And he's drunk. And she is kind of hiding her face. She's like turned away from him.
But he even mentions that she smells different.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, maybe it's worthwhile having a little look-see,
Right.
given that you know that there are 2 women living in that house who look kind of similar.
Right,
And
but
I'm drunk,
also-
and am I in the right bedroom here? But she does say David.
Yeah.
But it's her saying David that...
Right.
that
Finally knocks him out
Mm-hmm.
of his. Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, in fairness to him, you don't expect your sister-in-law to be in your bed pretending to be your wife.
and Shona had said that she'd thrown her out.
Yeah.
But when she said that she was going up for 40 winks, well, why not go to your own
bed?
your own
Yeah.
bed for that then?
That's not a valid excuse here.
And she's so blatantly trying to gaslight him into thinking that he really did make a move on her.
Right.
Cuckoo,
Bananas.
just cuckoo bananas. Bananas for cuckoo? Cuckoo
No.
for bananas.
No, it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Cuckoo for cocoa. Cuckoo for caca. Oh, no,
No.
that's a Faith No More song.
Yes.
There were an awful lot of Fatal Attraction references here.
There were.
And I'm not sure everyone in the audience is going to get it.
Well, not everyone in the audience has seen the movie. But I think everybody in the audience also gets it.
They know what bunny boiler is. They know-
Yeah.
they know-
They've never seen the scene with the bunny being boiled. But they know what it means.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that has had a longer life than the actual thing that it's from.
I think I've only seen that movie once.
I don't think I've ever seen that movie all the way through.
It's not that great.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas, man. You know. All right, on to Thursday then. All this week we've seen clips of Toyah driving around in the bistro van, and we know there's nothing good that can come from seeing Toyah drive around in the bistro van.
Or drive around in anything.
Right. It turns out this is asking us to believe so much
Right.
that Eva and Leanne have managed to kidnap Megan
Yes.
and throw her in the back of the bistro van.
Right.
So they've kidnapped a woman in a van that advertises who owns the van.
Yeah.
Not entirely clever.
Well, it's what they had.
And they stop at Leanne's flat. They bundle a laughing Megan out of the van and push her inside. She's super composed, very relaxed for someone who's been abducted by the stepmother of the child that she's been grooming.
Because she's a psychopath.
I know, but it still looks weird when they're trying to be all terrifying and heavy and they're pushing her into the flat and she's giggling.
Right, because she's a psychopath.
Yeah, but it still looks weird.
I think that's part of the psychopath bit, is that it looks weird.
Eva makes her demands. She wants Megan to text Will and tell him that she never loved him. Okay, sure. Text Sam to apologise for the bullying. It's nice that somebody's remembering that. And then confess to the police. Megan politely instructs Eva to go fuck herself, and she still denies that she did anything wrong,
Right?
saying that her confession from last week was just a wind-up. She refuses to be bullied into a confession by good cop, Eva, bad cop, Leanne, and badly dressed cop, Toyah. Poor Toyah.
Poor Toyah is just... I mean, Leanne is just wearing like a red sweater and some khakis. So...
Right.
how is this... How is the way Toyah is dressed in this blouse that has like a little bit of floral detail on the elbows and blue jeans, poorly dressed? She's not even wearing like a cuckoo Toyah outfit.
Toyah is dressed appropriately for her age. That's what Toyah's dressed as. Don't you think?
All women are dressed appropriately for their age.
Someone dressed like a child when they're in their 90s is probably dressed inappropriately for their age.
How do you know?
And vice versa. She knows where the bodies are buried, says Megan, and she reveals how scared for her life she was when Toyah was driving, given that she murdered her husband. And Toyah is furious about this and says, "Oh, is this what the two of you talk about?" to Leanne, and Leanne says it wasn't like that. Well, I'm curious to know what it was like then. And as Toyah and Leanne are arguing, I couldn't quite hear what Megan was saying, but she just keeps on talking and she keeps on seemingly winding up Toyah. And Toyah snaps and she turns and she smacks Megan across the face with the back of her hand, looking like she might have broken her nose.
She smacked her? I thought she punched her.
No, it was with the back of the hand.
Oh, that's not as cool.
And then immediately apologises and gets Megan a tissue. Megan promises that she'll be grass them all up to the cops for this, and she leaves. So that went well. Meanwhile, at the pub, Maggie is fucking furious when she learns that Melanie is in the back room chatting to Will and Ollie, and she barges in all guns blazing, ready to throw her out. Ollie is incensed by this and says that here comes Maggie ruining things as ever, and Ben comes in, reminds Maggie that Melanie is the boy's mother after all, and she's allowed to have some time and space with
Sure enough.
with kids.
Don't you know?
Yeah. Maggie is still furious as she leaves. Megan sees Kit, who is still refusing to help her, as we've already seen, and instead it's Daniel who's walking down the street who takes pity on her, and they go back to number 1 to clean up her bloody nose. But as soon as they're there, Megan starts taking selfies and asks Daniel to help. He's furious at this, and how she has no remorse for what she did, and instead is determined to ruin more lives, and he reminds her that she's a predator, and he introduced her to Bertie after all.
Oh.
He pushes her up against the wall because at his core, he's a terrible person.
Yep.
And starts hitting her head as he calls her sick. And at this point, Ken comes in and says,
Daniel!
And assumes that he's the one that's beaten her up. Megan makes good her escape via the back door, which I thought was odd at the time, and leaves. Melanie has finished chatting to the boys and sits with Maggie in the backyard. Melanie wants her boys back, living with her in Scotland.
Ollie's an adult. I just feel like I need to remind everyone that Ollie's an adult.
No, he needs to go back and live with his mum in Scotland.
He's an adult.
Over my dead body, says Maggie, who doesn't realise it's murder week. Melanie reveals that she's spoken to Finlay, who has told her that it was Maggie who pushed Alan down the stairs and it wasn't an accident after all. And unless she wants Ben to find out, she'll talk him into giving her custody of her sons back. Even Ollie.
Ollie's an adult. You cannot have custody of this adult.
Melanie leaves Maggie an emotional wreck, and it's a loitering Megan who comes in from the ginnel and talks Maggie through her panic attack. But then, to make Maggie's day worse, Megan reveals that she recorded the conversation with Melanie and has evidence of the allegation.
Which?
Murderer, she hisses.
Which? Unless she knows that the murder accusation is coming, why would she have started to record?
I was curious
There's
about that as well.
There's no reason why she would have started to record that conversation unless, I might get some interesting feedback here about something.
My coaching techniques or something? Some actionable feedback?
Something I can use later on when somebody else accuses me of being a pedophile?
And the way
It makes no sense that she would have recorded that conversation.
And the way that Melanie and Maggie are talking about that, they kind of keep the accusations vague-ish.
Yes.
At no point does Melanie say clearly, you pushed Alan down the stairs and he died. And
Yeah.
Maggie say, that's right, I did that.
Right.
I confessed to that and it was
Yeah.
murder. So what she has is a conversation that she shouldn't have been recording in the first place. Although, if she plays it to Ben, I guess Ben could see it as being...
but is Ben going to listen to anything Megan has to say?
Probably not. But that's about the only thing that she's got going for her from that.
No.
But Maggie...
Because it's not like she can go and play it for the police, because this is like decades old. This is not actionable.
Oh, I think it is. I think murder's always actionable.
Not in a different country.
Was it the Republic of Ireland or was it Belfast?
Oh, it might have been Belfast,
I
but
think it was
still,
Belfast.
that is still technically a different country.
Yeah, but it's
Than
all,
England.
it's all part of the United Kingdom. It's definitely actionable.
And it's also hearsay about something that the person who's speaking the hearsay was not present for.
No, but if Maggie says, yes, it was me that did it, that's not hearsay.
Yeah, but she didn't say that.
No, she didn't. So, Megan wants Maggie to call off the dogs, i.e. Bananarama, or Ben gets to hear the recording. Maggie's called away by Ben, who shouts on her from the inside. It sounds like he's just shouting on something like, is this a pimple or a boil?
Right, yeah.
Just nothing important.
No.
And
Still.
Maggie goes off and tells Megan to stay put, but Megan leaves because she needs to speak with her landlord, which seems a brilliant way to end a blackmail confrontation with the two parties just going their separate ways calmly.
Right, yes.
Back at number 1, Ken apologises to Daniel for jumping to a perfectly reasonable conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel insists that Megan is purest evil
Evil dies tonight!
and sounds like he might do something about it. In the Rovers, Eva and Leanne are arrested for assault and false imprisonment. That seems fair. Toyah escapes because she's chatting with Shona at the bistro when Sam comes in. He saw the kidnap unfold and asks if Toyah has killed Megan. Toyah lies and says that Megan was just collecting the last of her clothes, and this upsets Sam as he thinks he's imagining things again.
Right, yes. But let's not gloss over the fact that he jumps to the conclusion that Toyah has murdered Megan.
Yes. It's dark at the precinct and the fireworks are going off as Jodie's hanging around. Up on the landing outside the flats, Maggie confronts Megan, whose landlord is coming to meet her so she can get something from the flat. What could that something be? You could have been family if you hadn't killed your baby, says Maggie, who knows the miscarriage was faked. Whatevs, says Megan. She says she's got people to meet. She walks down the corridor of the flats, followed by Maggie, who closes the outside door.
Ominously.
And that's as far as we get on Thursday. A little bit better,
Yes.
but I had an awful problem with the kidnapping. It was just... the sight of these three women kidnapping another woman,
Right.
where they're dressed for going shopping, with their outside coats on, and it just all looked so ridiculous. And I can't seriously think that Eva thought it was going to work. We've got you in the flat, we want you to do these three things, and Megan's like, no. Oh, well, I guess that's that then. We just resort to name calling and
Right,
them
and
winding
then-
each other up and getting nowhere.
And the fact that Eva and Leanne give Toyah a hard time for hitting Megan, it's like one of you was going to hit her at some point.
We'd kidnapped her at this point.
Right, yeah. Does this really make this that much worse?
A smack in the face. And Toyah is rightfully incensed that Leanne's been chatting to her about Imran and wonders if she's been chatting to her about baby
Rosie.
Baby Rose as well. So I think she's well within her rights. Plus, everyone is ignoring her. She's been the voice of reason.
Right, yeah. Maybe we shouldn't be doing this, guys.
She's a good cop. She's the voice of reason
Right,
throughout all of this.
yeah.
Nobody pays attention to her.
No.
But I guess it was quite poetic justice when Megan winds her up. And when Megan chooses her to be the one that she's going to wind up,
It's hilarious.
was
Of course she's going to wind up like the most mellow of the trio.
the one that she sees as the weakest
Right.
and the poorest dressed.
I like that blouse.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It's fine.
Of course,
I was curious about the Sam thing, though, because that was a strange scene just to throw in there.
Right. Did you kill her?
And it made me wonder if Sam had a more active involvement in what's about to happen. So that's us leading up to the Friday then. At this point, Helen, who do you think is dead and who do you think has killed them?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think Carl eventually... I think Carl will eventually be dead. But he's obviously not the dead person in the gut that Betsy finds.
No, because Betsy finds him in the gunnel.
Right.
And at the moment, he's in Ronnie's backseat.
Right, yes. I'm assuming he will be in a hospital bed by the end of the night on Friday.
This is what you're thinking at this time.
Right, yeah. So I think Carl will die, but he's not the dead body.
Yeah, I was in the same place thinking that this opens it up for more than one of them to die.
More than one death. I was strongly feeling Maggie killing Megan at this point.
Yeah, me too.
But I also just really want Theo dead. Theo is the one I want dead the most. So in my heart of hearts, I'm still hoping that it's Theo. But I also, Theo is the one where there's more than one obvious suspect. More people want Theo dead than anyone else.
There's like half a dozen people that want Theo dead.
Right, yeah. So, and of those, people who have killed or caused serious bodily harm to other people in the past.
Yeah, I had stuck with my initial, I've been thinking this all along, it's Maggie who's going to kill Megan.
Right.
That was my prediction from the start. So I've got to stick to it. But the fact that the Megan storyline was the Thursday storyline makes it less likely. And then you think back to, well, we've got Theo at the start and Carl earlier on in the week. It's probably
Right.
more likely to be one of them. And like you said, for the reasons of position during the scene, and this is all now after the fireworks, I think, where Carl is in Ronnie's back seat. That I think the opportunity for him to be discovered by Betsy feels like it's too late in the timeline, but I'm not quite sure what the timeline's doing. So yeah, I think it's probably Theo at this point. Although I just don't want it to be. Because damn it, and we've talked about this so many times, we want the perpetrator, we want the abuser. If this is just Tim's dad all over again, let's not have him metaphorically fall from a roof and be eaten by chickens. Let's have him get his day in court and get sent down for a very long time.
But as I'm thinking about the two possibly dead people who are actual actionable abusers, I'd much rather see Megan in court than Theo. If one of the two of them has to die, and it kind of feels like it's leaning strongly towards the two people who aren't just bad people, but have done illegal things to other people. Because Carl is bad, and Jodie is bad, and Maggie is bad. And yes, Maggie is killed, but I don't even really consider that in this, in this slate of badness.
Poor Alan.
Yeah.
Hashtag justice for Alan.
Alan! Al! Anyway. Sorry. A prairie dog somehow just like totally took over my microphone there for a second. Yeah. If it's gonna have to be one of the truly evil people, I'd much rather it be Theo dying and Megan going to court than Megan dying and Theo going to court.
This is a function of having too many villains on the street.
That's correct.
You want both of them to go to court and be sent to jail for a long time.
Right.
They're never going to have two
Court
trials back to back or running at the same time
Although
as each
they
other.
kind of did. They kind of did with ITV Corrie, and then was it ITV Corrie, and then like something ridiculous, not Sally, but was it ITV Corrie's court case and Yasmin's court case kind of in like the same kind of few months?
It was ITV Corrie and Kelly the Chin who were getting
yes.
trialed at the same time as part of the same case.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So it is possible, but not
So
probable.
I call that one. That's one trial. It's just there's,
Remember Simon shouting from the balcony and people just turning around and walking away from him?
oh, it was so funny. He shouts down to Imran
Right.
and Toyah,
Yeah.
"This is your fault. You did this," and they look up, and then they go, "Anyway," and
Right.
just ignore him.
It's like
That's
Max.
great.
It's like Max saying to Craig, just pouring out his heart. What do I do here? What? I'm so sad. And Craig going, well, that's me then.
Yep, I'm off. I'll see
There's-
myself out.
There's a donut somewhere in my future.
All right. I really wanted them to do right by Todd. Let's see if that happens. On Friday, all of this is in the dark.
Yeah.
All of this is too dark.
It's nighttime now. Completely.
Theo gives chase after Todd and end up in the precinct where there are plenty of corners for Todd to hide in. Todd realises that Theo...
Connors for him to hide in?
Corners.
Sounded like he said Connors.
No, I said corners.
And
Todd-
it was funny thinking him, hiding inside Carla's mouth.
Or behind. That would work. Just hide behind her.
Yeah, but you said in.
In the shadow of. Anyway, I didn't say corners, I said corners. Todd realises that Theo was tracking him and he takes off his phone. He takes off his watch, finally, and throws it in the swing park where
Yeah.
people are lining up waiting to be stabbed.
One would think that the watch would have been the first thing to go last week.
Ever since he realised that he was being tracked, because he knew he was being tracked before. Didn't he?
I don't know.
There was chat of tracking stuff. I'm sure Todd
He must have at least
confronted him
suspected
about
it.
being
Yeah.
tracked.
Yeah, but seriously, why is he still wearing that thing?
Theo finds the watch and realises that Todd has escaped. Summer, meanwhile, has let herself into the corner shop flat and finds Todd's phone on the counter. Theo appears from nowhere. Where's Todd? Summer demands. God only knows, says Theo, which could mean anything, right? Only God
Right.
knows where he is. And he gets Summer to throw him the phone, which he then tosses out the window. And with a demonic look, he seems to approach Summer.
Yes.
Todd,
Who, let's remember, is in the kitchen
where there are knives
Where there are knives and other things.
and a heavy pot.
Yes. And like forks and other things that you could stab into people.
Chopsticks.
Yeah, right in the eye. That would work perfectly. I'm sure I've seen that in a movie at least once.
Chinese restaurant takeaway menus. Think of the paper cuts.
I think the chopsticks are a little more lethal there, Gav.
Todd has escaped to a phone box on Inkerman Street where he phones Eileen's house and he speaks to Christina, who promises to come and get him. George wants to go as he's wearing his cream jumper,
Now,
but Christina tells him to stay put.
yes. But before this, before the phone rings in the house, Christina looks at her phone and sees something there that disturbs her.
Yes.
There's like a text or something. We never find out. Well, we don't know yet what that is. Mm-hmm. Which is why it's really interesting that Christina insists, no, I will go get him. And George, you stay here. And you don't go anywhere.
Yeah,
Which
you don't
makes
go
me-
anywhere and you don't do anything stupid.
Right,
she says
yes.
to him.
You stay in this building. Which makes me wonder if Summer has texted Christina saying, I've murdered Theo.
Right, quite possibly.
Yes. And Christina doesn't want George to get blamed for it.
Because Christina's going to take a long time to bring Todd back.
Right, yes.
This does mean, though, that Christina is leaving Todd hanging out at a phone box on Inkerman Street.
Right.
But if she knows that Theo's dead, that's probably acceptable.
Yes. And Summer is the sort of person who would text another person that she's murdered someone.
Short of taking out an advert in the Weather Gazette.
Right, yes.
And I think that's a perfectly valid possibility.
Right.
And we know that there is a really heavy pot there.
Right, yes.
And maybe...
And also things that she can stab Theo with.
Is she going to stab him? I think she's far more likely to clobber him over the head with a heavy pot than she is to stab him. I think...
Yeah,
Summer...
but that leaves her very open. Because you have to have like a really wide stance and the for the heavy pot. Whereas stabbing, you're going from under, not over. And also, you don't have to necessarily be too close to stab someone.
You think she's throwing the knife at him? Is she a ninja?
Yes.
That would be
But
interesting.
also at some point, she's going to have to push him off the scaffolding so he lands in the gunnel.
See, I think there's maybe an upward arc with a heavy pot where you snap the neck back.
Right. But again, he'd have to be pretty close, and he would probably... And
He
there's,
does have a reach advantage. Certainly.
yes, he could definitely grab her hand and get that pot away from her. Whereas a knife, you can do it very quickly.
Anyway, this is fascinating conversation on a event that may not have happened.
Right, yes. And also chopsticks through the eye into the brain.
Up the nose, up the nostril.
Now, the eye's a lot easier to get through.
From Summer's perspective, those nostrils might as well have a target on them. When she brings Todd back, Christina that is,
Yes.
later, maybe a little bit too late, George is wearing a red jumper as he welcomes Todd home. Todd goes for a bath and Christina remarks that, "Oh, George, you've changed your clothes for some reason. It's been a long day," he says.
Yes. And Christina's like, all right, yeah, makes sense.
I think this is too obvious, the
Yes.
change of shirt.
Yes.
Meanwhile,
Although it completely passed me by the first time I watched it.
yes. Meanwhile, Maggie has Megan pinned to a wall in the precinct at the top of a concrete staircase as she accuses Megan of aborting the baby. "It was the best solution to save the poor cunt from having you as a nana," says Megan. Maggie goes to throw Megan down the concrete staircase but stops when Will appears. Maggie tells him that Megan aborted his baby and he's shocked by this. Megan denies it and then says, "You know what? This is far too much like hard work," and she leaves the two of them to it. She bids Will a fond farewell and leaves. Will still denies being the baby's father as he walks through the precinct with Maggie nipping his ear behind him. She tells him that he thinks he's in love, but this isn't love, it's abuse. He
Yes.
wants to know what the fuck she would know about love, given that she hid Ben's true father from him. Maggie is outraged at the cheek, but Will tells her to suck on his balls. He never wants to speak to her again. Ever. Ever, ever, ever.
Ever, ever.
Meanwhile, Toyah's been lifted by the cops, which Sam sees from his window, and that he's watching like a midnight creeper. At this cop shop, though, as Toyah's about to be processed in the system, and as Eva and Leanne are released, Kit appears and tells him not to worry about any of this, as some new evidence has emerged out of the ether in a box marked Deus Ex Machina. Back at the pub, Eva sees Will come in, who has quite the hurry to get up the stairs.
Yes.
I think we're meant to think here that Will has maybe done something rash to Maggie.
Yes,
He's very, very angry at Maggie.
he is.
And not very, very angry at Megan about the baby.
No. Well, he's still trying to pretend that it was Daniel's baby. Mm-hmm. It's a little surprising that he's this good at pretending about this, because we've seen this boy be very, very emotional and do things and say things around Megan that get them nearly caught a couple of times.
All the time.
So for him to be so very good at pretending now when he wasn't very good at pretending before feels a bit off. Feels like bad writing.
Oh. I was wondering if that's what you were doing, but thank you for clarifying. Yeah.
You're welcome. It's like personality change because plot.
So it was Lily who tracked Jodie down at the precinct, and guess what? She's a moaning-faced cow as per usual. She accuses Jodie of abandoning her, and she was like, haven't we been through all this? And she promises to come back for her. What? Come back for her? She's not yours to come back for.
I don't know.
Anyway, she needs to go. Back on the street, Shona's remembered that she was going to go and see Harper 6 hours ago, and she bumps into David, who's drunk again, and tells him about Toyah being arrested and asks him to tell Nick. David doesn't tell her about Jodie, and then we see Jodie sneaking into number 8, where she goes through some drawers, steals some money, throws some shit around, and she cuts herself on something.
Right, yes.
And she's bleeding.
And she doesn't quite notice that she's cut herself until she goes to the treasure box of discovery.
Yes.
And touches it and then looks at her hand and sees blood.
And then she hears Sarah come in. Jodie hides, and then as Sarah seems to be spying on her trinket box on the counter, Jodie twats Sarah on the back of the head with a bar of some nature and knocks her out. This is our headwind of the week. Jodie grabs her trinket box and makes good her escape. It's Shona who finds Sarah knocked out on the floor, and I can't remember why she's there and not with Harper. It is explained, I'm not sure if it makes any sense or not, but no one's thinking that Shona was the one who did this, so it doesn't really matter. By this point, Harper is more or less self-reliant anyway. David comes in and calls Sarah an ambulance.
Sarah, you're an ambulance.
At the hospital, Shona's worried about Jodie and reckons that this was the street toughs who assaulted Sarah, and God knows what they've done with Jodie then. David is dismissive and reckons that Jodie probably just did a runner. When Shona nips off for a shite, David gets a weird as fuck call from Jodie, who tells him that she's sorry for knocking him back, and he's really not her type, and besides, he's married to her sister, so best to just move on and let it go, eh? David is the most confused he's ever been in his life, which isn't helped by him being drunk and sobered up twice in one day.
He deletes it.
Was that a message?
Yeah.
I thought she was actually on the phone to him.
No, it sounded like a message.
A strange
Because
message.
he doesn't say hello. He just clicks a button and it plays. And it is very strange because she knows. And it's like, why is she leaving this message here? Does she think that maybe Shona will hear it?
Yeah, she's leaving it like it's going to be proof of something at some point.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know at this point that I have any thought whatsoever that Jodie's dead.
No.
Because the street toughs aren't going to come back, because we thought it was street toughs and it was Lily.
Right, yes.
So unless
and also,
Lily's killed her.
And also, it's
please let
Jodie.
Lily have killed her.
And also, it was Jodie herself who's like trashed the house and bludgeoned Sarah. Which, you know, if that woman takes any more hits to the head in this show.
I think she's got maybe one or two more getting run over, and that's it. After that.
Remember when she was run over during COVID and they replaced her with a mop?
Yes, I do. So while all this is going on, Ronnie's in his car with Carl still in the back seat, listening to a high-quality voicemail from Debbie, who wonders where he is. She thinks this might be the last time she ever sees Carl, and she tells Ronnie that when she starts to forget, and she asks him about Carl, that he's just to tell her the good stuff. Tell her that he loved her. That was really lovely and beautifully put.
Right, yes. It
After
makes Ronnie very sad.
Yes. After the message ends, we see Ronnie cleaning up the inside of the car with industrial cleaning products, and then we see Carl unconscious in a hospital bed. Apparently he was found dumped in the parking lot by a nurse. And then Carl...
On her smoke break.
And then Carl goes into cardiac arrest, and the crash team hurry in as he flatlines. And you know, for someone who's had a car drop on his chest, maybe doing compressions wasn't the best idea, but, you know, you do what you can.
Yeah, because don't they say he's got a collapsed lung?
A collapsed lung and 2 suspected broken ribs. One of them was from 2 weeks ago.
Right, yeah. Yeah, you don't really want to do chest compressions on someone whose lung has collapsed. Maybe just get the paddles and do the whole clear thing.
Do the paddles, and then you can have a wee game of pickleball afterwards.
Yeah.
So this isn't... If Carl is dead, he's certainly not the body that's in the ginnel.
No. But also, this brings me great joy that both Carl and Theo are dead. We're possibly getting 2 annoying villains done in 1 week. And that gives me great joy. Because I am tired of both of these people.
Betsy and Lauren get back from town by tram because Betsy was carded and she didn't have her ID. She goes off to get it and arranges to meet Lauren in a little bit, telling her to nick some wine from the wedding. Later, a random couple find Maggie's body in the community garden and wonder if she's dead. They call her an ambulance.
Old woman lying in the garden. You're an ambulance.
And then Betsy and Lauren are ready to head into town, but Lauren needs to urinate like a horse first in the ginnel. And when
I thought she was like going to go inside to pee because I am a lady.
Lauren was dragged up, let's remember.
So I'm like, so I was like, oh, she's going to sneak back into the factory to pee real quick. And then she's like saying to Betsy, sing her a song. And I was like, oh, that's where you're peeing.
Yeah, because it sounds like Lauren's running a bath.
Right, yes. It's much like Sally in the garden.
Yes, that was front page news.
That's what William Butler Yeats was talking about when he wrote about the Sally Gardens. I get it now.
When Betsy follows at the back of Lauren and turns into the ginnel, she screams as she sees Theo's...
Well, she like falls through a gate. It's not because
I couldn't really tell what was going on.
Because if he had been like in that actual gunnel where Lauren is peeing, Lauren would have seen him first.
Or would be peeing on him.
And peed herself. But Betsy's like walking, and for some reason she's singing "It Had to Be You."
Because that was from the wedding.
Did they play that at the wedding?
Very much so.
Okay. All right. Because I was like, how does she know this song that's like 100 years old now
Yeah,
at
she
this
heard
point?
it earlier in the night.
But yeah, she falls through like a gate that's unlocked. So Theo is in a yard.
Somebody's yard.
Yeah. Which is why I think he's been thrown.
Well, the scaffolding would just land on the street.
Well, no, because the scaffolding goes all the way around. Let's remember, because...
Yeah, but it's a corner that's both of which are on the street.
No, the backyard. It goes all the way around. Except
I don't know
there's
that we
just
saw that.
one side, because we see Theo like creep around 3 sides. I don't know. But anyway, he's in a yard and he's very dead.
Well, we don't know that he's dead.
No, he's dead. Look at him.
She screams anyway
Yeah.
as she sees the body sprawled out on the ground.
His eyes are open.
She can't see that.
Yes, but we do.
Yeah.
His eyes are open. He's landed on his face. He's not moving. He's deceased. If the eyes are open and they're not moving.
Can you tell that his eyes are open from that?
Yes. Yeah, you can see his eyeball right here. You can see his eye right there. You don't see his eye open there? At the top of his face? At the top of the side of his face. That eye is open. That eye is not shut.
My arms aren't long enough anymore. I don't know, maybe.
No, his eye is definitely open. It's glassy. I saw it on the big TV, so trust me.
Yeah, that might have helped. And this is a scream, and this is a scream that was heard, and this punctuates the timeline.
That Carla thought was a fox.
Yeah. Does Betsy know who Theo is?
I think everybody knows who Theo is at this point.
Because she tells the police in the flash forward that she knew who it was.
Yeah. She's seen him around. Everyone's seen him around. And everybody knows that he beat up Todd and that he's not allowed on the street anymore.
Does Betsy know Todd?
Yes.
Have they talked to each other?
I don't know if they've necessarily talked to each other, but Lisa has talked to Todd quite a bit because Todd has been involved in a number of investigations.
So have Lisa find the body then?
No, because Lisa is still inside smooching Carla. And Carla knows Todd.
I know Carla knows Todd, but really my point is Betsy doesn't. And
No.
Betsy doesn't really know Theo either.
Yes, but it's the sort of like we know George who sits on the bench in town and waves at cars. We know him to identify his face and we know his name. It's that sort of know. She doesn't have to be intimately aware of his life.
I don't know that Betsy made that all that clear.
Right, but she doesn't make much clear in that
Which is probably
murky.
for purposes of the plot.
Right, yes, exactly.
So, we know that Theo's dead. Theo's definitely dead. It's
Theo
been
dead.
confirmed.
Theo dead.
Carl might be dead.
Yes.
Maggie might be dead. Jodie, we have no idea where she is.
No,
And Megan, we have no idea where she is.
correct.
So they all, I guess, could be dead, but
Yeah.
they very much probably aren't.
No.
So the one that you wanted, and the one that I didn't really want for the purposes of the message that this sends, I think is fairly poor. But ignoring that,
I think the message is even more poor if it's Megan who's dead. Because I love Todd and all, but sexually assaulting a child, I think mentally, and I think all people are like this. I think everybody's thinking it. Hurting a child is worse than hurting an adult.
I just think when we've been down this road so many times,
Right, yeah.
it would be nice just to do it differently for once.
Well, and they are doing it differently in the case of the other evil person
Right.
who has done an illegal act that is actionable, that we're aware of. So if it was just 4 people who are just bad and then one person who's done an illegal act that is actionable and that person died, I would be more up in arms. But because there were 2 actionable people and they have died, and also maybe 2 of the other non-actionable people may also be dead, I'm kind of okay with it. I'm less mad than I would be if Theo was the only actionable bad guy.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I will be mad if Summer goes to jail for this, though. Or George.
I can see Summer going out of the show. I can see Summer going the sort of way of the young actors who are doing good stuff. And Summer has been great.
Yes.
Really, really good this year.
Yeah.
I can see her going on to do other things and wanting to try to do other things.
Right. And also, she's down to one dad.
Right. She's losing dads like...
She has no other family on the street. And we also do have a dearth of young women.
Yeah. I think of the people that it could be, and let's just run through the people that it could be real quick. It could be Todd. I don't think it's Todd.
George.
It could be George. Maybe it's George. It could be Gary. If it is Gary, I'm going to be really disappointed because there's been no real foreshadowing of that other than the CCTV and the text, and that sets him up to be a suspect
And
more
also-
than to be a
And also the threats Gary has done in the past 2 weeks, ever since he's realized that Theo pulled the wool over his eyes And so Gary feels stupid for being this guy's friend.
Yes,
And that is enough for Gary to want to kill someone.
it is. But I think this is much better served as being the prime suspect rather than being the actual person who does it.
Now, I have seen on Blue Sky when Tom float the idea that it's Danielle and Miles.
I've thought about Miles as well, and I wouldn't mind it being Miles.
Because it is kind of weird that he just shows up and then leaves 5 minutes later.
Exactly. And that's exactly why he's on the list. Miles is on the list. I don't know about Danielle.
Well, because Danielle, again, was on for like 5 minutes and then left. And we're like, you know, and also finds out that Theo has been physically abusing Todd.
It could have been Carl, but he was trapped under a car at the time.
Right, yes.
So it's probably not him.
No.
Christina, I think Christina more in the way that you've mentioned is covering up for someone rather than actually doing it herself.
Right.
I could see that being a possibility.
Yes.
I think Summer's prime suspect. She's the last person that we see seeing
Yes.
Theo alive.
But also that could be a red herring,
It could be.
like George's red sweater.
Yes.
See what I did there? Red herring, red sweater.
Oh. I didn't, but thanks for pointing that out.
You're welcome.
I think top of my list is probably Summer.
Yeah.
Do you think Carl's dead?
I hope so.
I think if they were going to kill Carl, they would have just done it.
I think
Which
it's
they maybe did leave it. It was
a
flatlining.
cliffhanger. Yeah,
It was flatlining.
it was a cliffhanger. I don't think Maggie's dead.
No, and I've seen chatter online that Maggie just had a heart attack. It's been a tough day for Maggie. We saw her have a panic attack earlier.
Right, there's no blood on her, so
No.
it doesn't look like somebody's hit her. Mm-hmm. Unless they've hit her like under her clothes, which would not have made her pass out necessarily.
Right. And if Maggie's dead, it's not going to be two randoms that find her.
Right, yeah. And also, although the actor who plays Maggie has said that she was not intended to be a long-term character.
Or that when she might read scripts that make it sound like she's getting killed.
Right. So who knows? But I don't think she is currently dead.
No, and as much as I don't like Maggie, I think she's a good character for the show.
Yes, absolutely. I think of those 5 people, who's good for the show and still kind of interesting, and it would be Maggie and Jodie. Mm-hmm. So
Megan was probably saved the minute that Kit said, "We've got some more evidence."
yeah,
Because I'm not going to get some more evidence
And then have
kill
her
her
die.
off. Right?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
just not going to happen.
yeah,
I wonder what that new evidence is.
right.
I wonder if it's got something to do with the landlord that she was desperate to meet because something's been left in
Yeah,
her
some
flat.
sort of shirt.
That's what she said it was. It could be anything, though.
I wonder if it's the Driscoll onesie.
Oh, she kept that? That would be hilarious.
The fact that the Driscoll onesie was introduced at some point and then never mentioned again, it does kind of feel like Chekhov's Driscoll's onesie.
It does. This is exactly what Anton Chekhov had in mind when he was thinking about onesies with Driscoll written on the back of it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, and I think that the promise of a trial kind of requires Megan to still be alive for it.
Yes.
Jodie, if she is dead, who killed her? No idea. I think she's fine. And I get an awful lot of the commentary that I'm reading about Jodie is like the people are just so sick that they don't know her.
Right.
That's a bit of her that I like. Is that she's so unreadable, and
Right.
who knows what she's up
She's
to.
such an enigma. And what happened with their dad?
She's still just left in that hospital.
Hanging out in the mental hospital. Just, pretending to be Santa Claus.
Very, very bizarre.
Yeah.
And if Chekhov wrote about the Driscoll onesie,
Yeah.
I think he also wrote about the flash drive
Yeah.
if you introduce a flash drive in Act 1, you need to find out what's on the flash drive in Act 3.
Yeah.
And we still don't know what that
We
is.
still don't know what it is. But there are also other things in the trinket box of discovery that
The
we
warrant
don't-
card. That needs to be resolved.
Right, yes.
Brian's bloody book needs to be resolved as well.
Does she still have Swain's badge?
That's the warrant card.
Oh, okay. Yes. And also, like, okay, we know what the locket is now. But then there was also
There was a wedding ring or something.
there was a
wasn't
wedding
there?
ring. Was there teeth? I feel like somebody's
False teeth.
yes, I feel like somebody's dentures
Wind
are
up
like
false teeth.
no, that's who has the wind up false teeth? Or no, it's a heart. And that was in the movie Valentine's Day, which I watched 2 weeks ago, which and then watched Coronation Street, so that's ignore me.
Okay.
Damn you, Bradley Cooper. Yeah, there's still still some mysterious stuff in that box
Yep.
that we have seen that she has specifically held out and the camera zoomed in on.
Yeah. The flash drive was one of those things.
Right, yes. And the locket.
I'm
And
sure there was a wedding ring.
yeah, there was a wedding ring. There was like a pin or something. I still think that there were teeth in there, but I could be possibly wrong. Yeah, there's other stuff. Yeah, I feel like there's so much of Jodie that we haven't even gotten to yet.
Yeah. And this
So
is why
killing her off would be the wrong choice.
And this is why I thought she was safe throughout. When it turned out that the person that followed her to the precinct was Lily, it's like, well, unless someone's getting bored to death, I guess Jodie's going to be okay.
Or drowned in tears.
Right. Well, that was the murder week. That was Coronation Street. Helen, what was your moment of the murder week?
Moment of the murder week? Is it Toyah smacking Megan? I kind of enjoyed that.
She got both nostrils.
Yeah. Yeah, if she was able to break that woman's nose with an open hand,
Back of the hand.
still, and not a punch, more power to you, Toyah. That's what being a vegetarian does for you. Isn't there a crack about her being a vegetarian in that scene as well?
They never miss a trick. I thought maybe it was Debbie's voice message in the car. I thought that was really well written.
I thought it was really well written, but I kind of hate when they do these things in a voicemail or a voice memo.
True. All right. Toyah scalping Megan's jaw/nose is our
Moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
boring moment of the murder week.
Oh, gosh.
They put Chesney at the bar for some reason this week, and I'm not sure why.
Who is he even talking to? Because he was talking to somebody. He was talking to Ben.
He was talking to everyone, and then everyone left, and it was just Chesney
Chesney's-
sitting at the bar on his own.
Chesney's sitting at the bar on his own.
That's
It's
our-
Boring moment of the week.
We haven't given that to Chesney in a while, so he was due.
Yay!
So we move on to the Yay Ms section, where I ask our Twitter followers to rank the show in terms of their enjoyment of Yay, Meh, or Z. And the response this week, how do you think it went this week?
I know that there are people who are very eye-rolly about this week.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that there are people who quite enjoyed this week.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it might be half and half. I feel
Out
like
of
it may
three
be a
things?
toss-up. Yeah, I feel like it might be like an even 33 and a third all the way through.
This is 25.3%, Meh, 31.3%, and Yay, 43.4%. So it is kind of close, but the Yays have it
Yeah, but by a hair.
by 12%.
And you would think, and I feel like the show would think, that it would be
Yeah,
a greater percentage than that.
yeah. If I'm looking at that as the murder week results, I want to see 80% Yay.
Yes. Or at least even like 75.
Holly says, a bit hard to follow at times, but all of it was interesting and lots still to uncover, so a strong week. Only getting an obscured glimpse of the corpse at the end of tonight's episode didn't help though. Excited to see what comes next. Laws says, hit and miss. Monday, Tuesday and Thursday were great. Wednesday and tonight's could have been better. Yeah, I agree with that. Feel that they crammed too much into tonight and it felt a bit rushed and chaotic. I think especially at the start, it was much easier to follow once I put all the scenes in order. But as it was jumping about between Jodie and Todd and Megan, all those things were happening in the precinct at the same time, and it was running over itself, and it was, can we just get like a 2-minute scene here just to cover all of it? So yeah, I think I agree with that. We don't let those thoughts and scores influence our score, of course, Helen. So what score are you going to give it this week out of 10?
6.5.
It's a 6.5 for me as well. I
Yeah.
was going to give it a 7 from talking about it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed talking about it a little bit more than I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
I thought it was decent. I didn't think it was dreadful.
No.
I enjoyed quite a bit of it, but there was an awful lot of it where just it didn't add up. The sums weren't working for me, and the timeline, oh fuck, who knows what that's doing.
Right, yes. And I think one of the things that has hurt it from my point of view is the fact that we watched the train wreck episode on Classic Corrie this week. And how well done that was, and how emotional that was, and how we felt for a character that we've never seen before and will never see, and how they were able to do that without music, without special effects, without flashbacks or flash forwards, without Dutch angles, without fisheyes. Just good acting, good writing, and just good, simple scenes
Yeah, I
of
agree.
simple human emotion.
Agreed. All right, this episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. That's Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Otingi, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Seal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corey Dales, Matthew McInerney, Welsh Emma, Matthew S, Rachel B, Uranium Jennifer, Catherine Monchero, Gary Heatley, Pam but not that one, Una, Amy, Jenny Roll, Ozzy Alley,
Oi, oi, oi!
Chris Horrocks, Cameron from Edmonton, Matt Birch, Library Jen, Jack the Marner, David MacArthur, Saskatchewanian Karina, and Rebecca. Thank you ever so much, folks, for your support. We very much appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much.
If you've ever strung out a murder storyline for far too long, write in to tell us about it. We're the talk of the street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky. Or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the talk of the street, PO Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one. And in this month's classics, we're talking about episode 668. Get access to this
The train wreck episode.
Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast. Find all the links at corriepodcast.com, and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
I've never been more angry at a Record of the Year win.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
I Talk of the Street.
Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.